Beaver Creek is a family business. We started in the early 80s, actually 84, when my father and grandfather bought the farm. At that time it was bananas. The decision to get into coffee was really my father's. He was really, at the time, most South Africans were drinking instant coffee. He was a consumer of filter coffee, and he had an interest in that way, decided that he wanted to try coffee. And at the time, there was quite a lot of coffee farming in South Africa, and especially down the KwaZulu-Natal South Coast and North Coast. So that's really what prompted him to get into coffee production. In the early years, we planted about a couple of hectares. Those hectares did very well. So from that, we started planting more, converting banana fields into coffee fields. And we then started getting the crop, and my father and grandfather started developing the markets. So by 1998, we were under 14 hectares of coffee, and that's the subsequent years where my brother and I became involved in the family business. My father's still very much involved, my mother very much involved. My dad looks after the farm and the factory. My brother's heading up sales. My sister is involved in the online business. But we're about a total staff count now is about 30 between the farm, the factory, and we also have a cafe on the farm where we serve coffee and we serve light meals. It's not very well known that South Africa can produce coffee, though historically we have had many eras of producing coffee as early as the 1870s, where during the time they were experimenting out around Durban with sugarcane, tea and coffee. But South Africa has a lot of suitability. We recently did a climate suitability study of South Africa and identified close on 750,000 hectares that is suitable for coffee, both in terms of its climate as well as the land classes. A lot of that sits in the rural areas where there's a massive opportunity for economic development. So currently we're working with about 50 growers across the country, a lot of them small growers. So we have this huge opportunity in South Africa for agriculture, for coffee agriculture. And it's a high value crop. And the model that we're developing is really focused on the farm gate price. That farm gate price is really what can drive the agriculture in South Africa, in coffee agriculture. So there's a big opportunity for small and large growers in coffee. Yeah, so having grown coffee, been involved in the family business, involved in coffee, and we sit in a very unique position that we have fully vertically integrated business from both the growing, processing, and roasting of the crop. And what we came to realize is that for farmers to get into coffee, it's very challenging. There's a very competitive market out there from roasters. Ultimately the farm gate price is very low because of this competitiveness. But we really develop the foundation for the growers. So we give agronomic support, advice, access to plant material, to processing, and access to markets. So we facilitate the gaps in the value chain for the farmers, so that the farmers can focus on farming, but still have a price at the farm gate that is super competitive to other crops and really produces a high value crop for the farmers. So Beaver Creek is the name of the family farm and the brand that represents that. We have 4 products in that category under that brand: House Blend, Transkei Gold, Ed's Special Blend, which is a blend my dad developed, and our Espresso Blend. We sell through various retailers, Spar, Pick n Pay. We also currently supply a number of Spurs countrywide, so there's places you can taste it. The second brand is called Redberry. Redberry is our brand that represents farmers. That was started 20 years ago. We started as focusing on representing the farmer's coffee. And over the years, you might have had experience of it in Mug and Bean. We supplied Mug and Bean for a period of time. We had a coffee club with Wine of the Month Club. And then also most recently we launched 100% South African coffee into VDE Cafe, a seasonal promotion, and again we're going to be doing it at the end of this year, and that's the Red Berry brand. So for a consumer to distinguish quality coffee, it's really, there's this idea that you need to be a professional and you need to be aficionado, but really what is a quality product is something that tastes good. So in cupping terms or tasting terms in coffee, we would look at sweetness, acidity, body, the fragrance and aroma of the beverage and the dry product. But really, it's a balance of all those flavors. But the simple idea is that if you enjoy it, it's over quality. So we really believe that South Africa can become a real player in the coffee industry globally. It's even though this is Nisboere, we do believe it's going to be a niche to start off with. We need a lot of small farmers, but really a multiple niche farmers grouping together to produce high quality coffee at scale is really what it's going to be. And for the South African consumer to really support that, so looking out for 100% South African grown coffee, I think is something we can really have a big economic driver in the country.